Welcome to Storied Audio. 3 years into marriage, Emily had almost forgotten what butterflies felt like. Not the quiet, steady warmth she shared with Adam, her husband who warmed up her car on cold mornings, who bought flowers for no reason at all, who sent her little good luck texts before every big presentation. Not that. She meant the dizzy, reckless flutter in your chest when someone new looked at you like you were the most interesting person in the room. That feeling came back the day Chase started working at the marketing agency. He had an easy smile and the kind of charm that slipped under your guard before you realized it. During long meetings, he'd whisper jokes that made Emily bite her lip to keep from laughing. When he complimented her ideas, his tone made it feel like he was complimenting much more than her work. At first, their messages were professional. Then they became friendly. Then, something else. By the second month, Emily was lying in bed at night with the glow of her phone lighting up her face, typing quickly while Adam slept beside her. She would turn slightly away from him as if the angle of her body could hide what she was doing. The guilt would appear sometimes, sharp and sudden, but it never stayed long. She told herself it was harmless. Just texting. Just talking. Just a little excitement. Then the lunches started. They began meeting outside the office. Small restaurants where no coworkers would notice them. Emily started inventing work meetings and late projects, just to steal an hour with Chase. Each lie became easier to say. Each truth became harder to face. Sometimes she would catch Adam watching her with a quiet expression she couldn't quite read. And she would quickly look away. One Saturday morning, Adam made pancakes. The smell filled the kitchen as Emily walked in, still sleepy. He smiled when he saw her, the same warm smile he had always given her. He set a plate down in front of her and gently kissed her forehead. "I've got a few errands to run," he said softly. Adam was thoughtful like that, always giving her space when she seemed tired or stressed. Emily watched him walk out the door. He spent the rest of the morning texting Chase. That night she went out with friends. When Emily finally came home, the house was dark. Too dark. Too quiet. She noticed it immediately. A cold feeling crept through her chest. "Adam," she called. No answer. Her footsteps felt heavy as she walked into the kitchen. Then she saw it. A single piece of paper taped to the refrigerator. Her name written at the top. Her hands trembled as she began to read. "I've known for a while. At first I thought I was imagining it. The way you smiled at your phone. The way you stopped looking me in the eyes when we talked. But it became clearer every day. The late-night messages you thought I didn't notice. The lies that sounded casual but didn't feel right. I didn't confront you because I kept hoping I was wrong. Or that maybe you were just going through something and we could fix it. But I realized something. The moment you let someone else into the space that belonged to us, the choice had already been made. So I made mine. I've moved out. Don't try to call. My silence will say more than anything I could say out loud. You'll receive the divorce papers soon. Adam." The room spun. Emily grabbed the counter to steady herself, reading the letter again and again as if the words might somehow change. Adam was gone. Just like that. The days that followed felt unreal. She called him dozens of times. Left voicemails. Sent messages apologizing, begging, promising she would fix everything. But Adam never answered. He didn't block her. He simply stayed silent. And that silence hurt more than anger ever could. The apartment felt hollow without him. Every corner carried a small reminder of what used to be there. A missing shirt in the closet. An empty space on the bookshelf where his novels once stood. The bed felt too wide. The nights felt endless. Then one afternoon a knock came at the door. A courier handed her a thick envelope. Inside were divorce papers. No note. No message. Just Adam's signature waiting beside a blank line for hers. At work, Chase still greeted her with that same easy grin. But something inside Emily had shifted. The charm that once excited her suddenly felt shallow. His compliments sounded rehearsed. His attention, temporary. The texts between them slowed. Then stopped completely. Because the truth finally became clear. Chase had never been something real. He had only been an escape. And she had traded something real for it. The realization hit her like a punch to the chest. A month later she signed the divorce papers. Her friends tried to support her. They invited her out, tried to distract her, filled the silence with conversations and laughter. But Emily found herself turning inward instead. He started journaling. Page after page filled with apologies Adam would never read. with memories that now felt painfully precious. She remembered their first anniversary trip to the mountains. The old record player Adam surprised her with because she had casually mentioned wanting one months before. He remembered everything she said. He listened. He always had. She was the one who stopped speaking. One evening she returned to the small coffee shop where they had their first date. She sat in the same corner booth and ordered Adam's favorite drink. Couples walked in holding hands, laughing, sharing quiet conversations. Emily stared into her cup. She wanted to cry, but the tears wouldn't come. Grief without closure carried a strange kind of weight. 3 months later she saw him. It happened in the park on a quiet Sunday afternoon. Adam walked down the path with earbuds in, hands in his pockets. Not joyful, but not shattered either. Just moving forward. Emily stood frozen behind a tree, her heart pounding. She wanted to run to him, to apologize, to promise she would change everything. But she didn't move. Because what words could she possibly offer that he hadn't already heard in her silence, in her lies? So she let him walk past. And when she got home that night she wrote him a letter she never mailed. Dear Adam, I wish I had seen you before I started looking for someone else. I wish I had told you when I felt scared instead of pretending everything was fine. I wish I had stopped myself before something meaningless pulled me away from something real. You were good to me. Too good. And I'm sorry I didn't value that when it mattered. Wherever you are, I hope you find peace. I hope you find a love that sees you clearly and never looks away. I'm sorry I couldn't be that person. Emily. Time moved on. Seasons changed. Emily moved into a smaller apartment. She left the agency and started over somewhere new. She didn't date for a long time. Not because she believed Adam would come back. She knew he wouldn't. But because she needed to become someone worthy of trust before asking anyone for it again. And sometimes, late at night, when the wind rattled the windows and the world was quiet, she would remember the way Adam used to pull her close in bed and whisper softly against her hair, "I've got you." And she would finally cry. Not just because she lost him, but because she never understood what she had, until it was already gone. Some mistakes leave bruises. Others leave scars. Emily carried both. But in that pain she learned something she would never forget. And someday when she loved again she would know how to stay. Subscribe to the channel for more audio stories.